touch with aliens, they're just gonna start exposing themselves. They're tired. I don't think our sun is strong enough to if they are already among us, keep protecting that outer layer of skin that they have. Because there's another thing that Kima had said, where a lady they's claiming that she's seen a reptilian on the back of the plane.
Yeah.
That the a person wasn't real on the back of the plane. At first, I thought that it was a glitch in the system, and that she just was seeing a fake person, but people were saying that it was somebody that was reptilian.
Okay, so now since we get into it, let's play on the other side of it. Let's say it's all true, right? We have UFOs. Some of them were hot pilots, right? So we know how aliens look. Since the 90s, right? Since World War One, it's not the 90s. Since 90 years ago, since World War One, we started getting a lot more distinct UFO sightings by officers in the Navy, people who fly in the Air Force and all that stuff. And the consistent theory is they come when we're doing nuclear testing.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was about to
Right.
say stuff like that.
Why is that? I don't want to say it's obvious because then that it would be stupid of me to assume that I can be in the mind of an alien. But they're not going anywhere else. They're not showing up anywhere else in droves like how they're showing up for nuclear testing over the past 90 years, for wars over the past 90 years that people aren't talking about. When we dropped those bombs on Hiroshima, they got sightings, like hella sightings after that. Whenever we drop bombs, they don't talk about this. I think in Russia, I forget the place, but in the comments below, you guys can correct me. That nuclear devastation that happened in Russia, they have this big UFO that everyone in that area knows about, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, that thing came many times." Everyone in the area will say that, but we don't talk about it because what? We don't have pictures. We don't have information.
Right.
We've gotten to a point where it's like, if like we rely on our technology so much that if we don't have our technology say, well, the technology has it, then we don't believe it. That's bullshit. Technology don't catch air, right? You have to have the technology specifically to catch the thing that you're looking for. What if a camera can't pick up the UFO because they have technology to negate that? But we're not thinking about that,
That's true.
right? I don't know, man. It just feels like all the things we see in the media, the consistency of aliens having green skin,
Yeah.
right? You brought up the whole reptilian thing, either green or white skin. What colors? What color does reptile skin have? They're either green, white, or like an off shade of that,
Yeah.
right? Typically, sometimes you see brown ones, but
And two, like if you
Read
want
about
to
it.
use
Read
like go
about
back to the comics, the Martian can shapeshift and be invisible. What reptilian that does that? A chameleon.
Chameleon can shape
So
shift. Yeah.
so all these things that's already on the planet, did they come from another place and be placed on this planet? They're just a little like what you call an evolution of
Right.
that being.
Right. Right, because you said when we first was talking about it, you said that what if aliens are us, and as we grow older, as we grow more wiser, as we know more things, we start looking different. We start shedding our hair. Our eyes start getting bigger because our eyes are open. We can
Right.
see more things, literally, like more. We could probably see the dust particles of this earth, or we could see through things, or whatever it is may be the evolution of something.
I bet you these aliens don't even have mouths.
Yeah.
Probably don't.
They probably don't
They
even have
probably-
mouths.
They just telepathically communicate with
Right,
each other.
and I wouldn't be surprised if our genome was either edited or given to us on this planet by some alien meteorite that came, just like how we got. This is why I'm saying it's so exciting because who knows what kind of particles was on that meteorite, and
That
now
could
it's
be
in our
exposed,
oceans, and now it's in
exactly.
our oceans. Something I was just watching the other night about how octopi have 2 times the amount of genes as human beings. And human beings are one of the most complicated in terms of genes on this planet, right? I believe human beings have like 24,000 genes or something like that, and octopi have like 54,000 genes. It's ridiculous. They have like 3 brains or 3 hearts and 7 brains, and their brains are distributed.
Octopuses?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
I told y'all last episode. Look to the octopus. I told
and,
y'all.
and this is crazy. Their brains aren't even distributed just on in their head. It's in their limbs. It's in.
Yeah.
So it's just not only that.
Octopuses look
Not
like aliens.
whoa. Not only that, they have the ability to do what we just said, camouflage.
Yeah, camouflage.
Yep.
They come. Okay, and another thing, y'all know how these angels are supposed to look, right?
Yeah.
How
Angels
Yeah,
do
they
not
supposed to
look
have
like
a
that.
lot of eyes. So
A lot of eyes, and these are just things that I'm starting to feel like, okay, what if octopi are aliens, right? Who's to say aliens have to be just like us, right? Obviously, octopi could be a type of alien that, got into our oceans and are living there in symbiotic with us, right? Okay, when you look at a lot of the key features of octopi, and let's assume they're aliens, let's ask ourselves, well, could there be another species, right? Like, we don't know where octopi came from. What if octopi came from a planet?
Right.
You understand? With a whole other species
that is like that.
that's
Right.
like that.
Right.
We are like the species on our planet to a certain degree. You can look at our genes and trace back to many different things on our planet to a singular ancestor. What if octopi came from something else, like I said, and you can trace their genes back to something else? That thing, like we're talking about,
Yeah.
one could possibly camouflage,
Yeah.
right? Possibly has more genes than us. What does that mean? Well, if they're older, have more genes than us, and they could camouflage, who's to say that they're not here and just walking among us?
Right.
Right.
Get that in your head.
Because the only
All
thing
these
that we know that we descend from is monkeys. Everything else here, we don't really know where it traces back to.
That's so true.
True,
Like,
but
where does a squirrel come from?
we can. This is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. We can look at all the animals here and trace them back to the single cell organism that comes from this planet. We can prove that. My point is, when we look at octopi, they don't fit into that category.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't fit into
They
that
have
category.
more genes than
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, what can we even
What they
gather?
trace back to.
Right.
And when you look
it's
at
crazy
another
that-
thing, when you look at octopi, people think that sharks are like the rulers of the
They're not.
the
though.
night.
You can tell they're. I
That's-
feel like octopuses are really wise.
That's like saying that lions are ruling the planet right now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dumb. Just because
Yeah.
they're stronger and faster than us, that doesn't make any sense, right? Sharks aren't ruling the seas, right? Dolphins might be more ruling the seas than anything else. Octopi might be more ruling the seas than anything else. When you look at what's going in and out and being smart and surviving in a way that is not just intuitive,
Yeah.
that it's doing things that, I don't think anything else on the planet might be able to do that. I don't see any other fishes doing that.
Yup.
And we know octopi can live pretty much anywhere in the sea, in the dark spaces of the sea. And, that's a lot. That's just
is.
like we don't have any things like that.
And it's crazy that the pieces fell inside the sea that they just
Exactly.
found.
Exactly.
No way.
Look,
You know,
And
it's not. Look, that's not
everybody
crazy
been saying
because
if you want to find space, you just look in the ocean.
Right, and then they put it all in your faces. I don't really think that mermaid movie was per se to remake the mermaid. There's a message in that like everything comes from being black, but there's black mermaids, and they're like you said, alien species.
look, we can get into it, but you want to talk about Atlantis and how I think Atlantis, because they just came out with this research recently that Atlantis was real, right? That's not made up,
It's
right?
not.
And we found
It was underwater. And all that.
Yeah.
no. Atlantis wasn't underwater.
Okay.
It was above water, but it was surrounded by water. It was this big circle, and it wasn't called Atlantis. The king, his name was Atlas,
Okay.
and just like, and this is what people don't realize, what happens when a king, or when you have a king anywhere, right? You name the place after the king.
Right.
So the place might have been called something else, but it might have also been called Atlantis because of the king's name, whose name was Atlas that we know, right?
Okay.
And he wasn't the only one. I believe his father was named Atlas or Atlantis or some shit. My whole point is, we found where that is. We got the gold Like we found gold where in the area of where it is, and the reason why we didn't know that that was Atlantis all this time because we had uh, I forget who, but someone in history made notes on where they thought Atlantis was, and when we looked up where Atlantis was supposed to be, it wasn't there. So for all this time, we thought it's not true. It's just like a myth.
It's like it's
But
not there.
but what they didn't account for was, hey, what part of all of this we were talking about, which was Atlantis was sunk by that big wave, which we know that's a fact that happened, right? Now, all of a sudden, someone was wrong to say, oh, wait, if Atlantis was sunk by a big wave, what happens when a wave hits a city? It moves.
Yeah. Duh, it moved.
What happens to anything in a city when a waves hit it? It moves.
Yeah.
So they found Atlantis some distance away from the spot, and guess it corroborates with how the wave would have pushed it. Come on, guys. Why is that so hard? And what I think is that a lot of this information, people have this information in the government. They don't share this information. I'm not gonna like sit here and act like I know why they don't share this information, but they don't share this information because we all know information is power.
Yep.
And who wants the power?
Yeah.
They want the power.
Power. Yep.
They want the power. Why they wouldn't share this information with us? Because maybe this information has something to do with aliens.
Yeah, they found technology in there that they're testing on. They don't know if it's safe for the public or whatever. That also ties into the certain vaccines that we're getting. They make up a disease or whatever to test a vaccine on us. That is for it. I feel like it's for an alien invasion or for some type of alien technology that they want to release on the planet, and they want us to be equipped for it.
Why wouldn't the government want to tell us this if they knew? Because they either found stuff there, and they have technology, or they found technology that didn't make sense for that time period. Oh, well, how do they get this technology? We have it in our books. They call them teachers, right? People who taught Atlas, people who taught these kings how to do whatever they did, and taught the people how to build these pyramids and all this stuff. They called them teachers, aliens,
Right.
fucking aliens,
Yep.
right? And that's just my conspiracy
Yeah.
theory for you,
Yes.
right? I think if any of this information that's coming out is true, then we should really backlog and look at all the shit that we thought wasn't true from all this time, and really give it some real consideration.
What about
Yeah.
I believe there's a movie where they said that wait, Aquaman, I think it was Aquaman. They said Atlantis sunk, and then they learned to survive underwater. They learned to be able to
Aliens
swim
Look,
and do all
that's
that,
a whole
all
other
those
thing.
things.
We don't know.
The mermaid theory that I just said. That
Mermaid
there
theory?
are mermaids.
I don't know. Do you feel like if there were mermaids, people who could live underwater and above, that we wouldn't have seen them
But
at
that's
this
what I'm
point?
saying. Pirates, well, whatever. Pirates are people that think they've seen them and they have videos of them and stuff like that. They call them sirens. They heard a song at first, and the sailor went towards them, and then they have a video of a tail and them taking them into the water and all different type of stuff.
They have
Yo, if you got videos of mermaids, send that
There is a
on.
video of a guy. He's a sailor, and he hears this scream across the whole entire ocean, and he's like, "Where's that coming from?" It's like, it was like a sound, like you know when you got like literally like a siren for real, like.
Oh,
And
I didn't know about this.
so he recorded it, and then the next couple of days, I think the CIA or the government came down to his boat, set up their whole shit on his boat, and then after that, he literally went missing. He was not. He was not.
If you find
talked
that
to,
information, send it to me,
I
because
will.
that sounds crazy. That
Yeah.
sounds nuts.
and he went missing.
They have different videos of a tail splashing in the water, and after they've heard a sound of like somebody got being lured in.
So y'all think these biblical angels are just aliens as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
God, imagine seeing something that looked like this
Look like an octopus with like 50 eyes.
with Imagine seeing something that looked like this.
Yeah.
How would you react?
I don't think it had the wings though. To be honest, I think it was just a. Well, it could have had the wings.
I mean, they fly. Apparently.
Yeah, that they was on TikTok with these videos as I said what. No wonder Moses was scared because look when the angels scammed it up is how they look.
Well, that's what it says in the Bible. That the angels always say, "Be not afraid."
Yeah.
And if they look like this,
Shit, they should say that.
I can see why they would say, "Be not afraid," because I'm like, bro, you here to eat me? Like, I don't even see a mouth, so I can't say you're here to eat me. But what the fuck is that?
To watch my life.
We've been watching all. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we see that.
Yeah, the all-seeing eye. They came from angels.
Yeah, the all-seeing eye.
That's the reoccurring thing.